First you said it was the Air 2S. We were going to be able to use the goggles and fly and see in ways we could never see before. But no, that never happened. We even advertised it. And then the Mavic's going to get it, and we're going to be able to use the goggles for the Mavic 3. Still haven't seen that software update. So guess what? We're doing this again. Can't believe you're making me do this. Firmware update. Oh yeah, here we go. This is gonna be fun.
Goggles in use. Current remote controller not supported? What the f, DJI?
DJI, this is typical out of you guys. I can't believe you're gonna force us to use that stupid piece of controller that no one likes, and it's honestly dangerous to use. Tape. Wait a minute. Cannot take off.
Just because I didn't tape the Avata on here doesn't mean I can't tape a 360 camera to it. Looks legit. So one thing I noticed, you have to use 4K 60 or 1080 60, which kind of sucks. You can't do the 5K and you can't do slower frame rates, and that's really unfortunate. They need to let that happen, but it is pretty incredible flying this like this. Drone down. Let's go find it. Oh, I see it. I see a light. There it is. Is there anything left? Or are we out of Mavic? Oh, looks like we're gonna have to get some work done. The gimbal looks like it's okay. The props, oh, they didn't make it, but I think our motors and arms are okay. Yeah, I think we're good. Oh, the Insta360 survived. That's why we put these little guards on here. I think we're just going to throw some props on it and send it again. I mean, it is an FPV drone and that's how we use those. So yeah, we're good.
Flying the Mavic 3 in FPV mode was a complete riot. I wish I would have hit record earlier because I didn't get everything. You actually have to pull down on the goggles and hit the record button instead of the record button on the controller. As you can see, you need to be careful because sometimes you can make mistakes and forget you're flying one of these drones instead of one of those drones back there. It seemed to hold up pretty well, just busted a few props, but definitely need to watch out for that. So if you want to fly the Mavic 3 or any of the other versions of the Mavic 3 with the goggles 2, unfortunately not the goggles V2, all you have to do is a firmware update on the goggles, the drone, and your controller. We're going to use the RCN1 because we really don't care for the motion controller, even though DJI only lets you use the motion controller. And it has to be the motion controller V2, which is even more frustrating. So once you have the firmware updated, you go into the goggles and switch it from Avata or O3 mode to Mavic 3 mode. And you'll notice there's even a Mini 3 mode in there as well. Once the drone is selected, you're going to want to plug your phone into the goggles, and then you're going to get some prompts about connecting the goggles to the drone. In those prompts, you're going to find that it wants you to connect to that RC motion controller. Once you get to this point, you should already have video, and that means you can just stop. Don't go any further. So then just power your goggles off, and then make sure your controller is bound to the drone and to your account like you normally would. After firmware updates, some of that stuff gets reset. The trick is when you go outside and try to fly it and your goggles are on, you're going to get this screen on your phone. This means they won't let you fly it with this controller. So what do? You turn the goggles off, take off, and then once the drone is hovering, you power the goggles back on, and then you're good to go. You're ready to fly. Now do keep in mind, this might void your care refresh, and incidents like this might not be as cheap. So do be careful and pay attention when you do this. There's one thing I need to say to DJI about this whole setup. One, thank you. We appreciate you giving us the goggles 2 and goggles compatibility with this setup. However, please do not restrict us to that motion controller. Most of us FPV pilots use a real controller, and I'm not even talking about this, or frankly, even this. We use controllers with sticks. If you give us something with a motion controller and expect us to fly, there is going to be a lot more crashes like this, and I honestly don't think that's your goal to sell more drones. So please do another firmware update where you allow this, and for the love of God, do not block us from using this little hack that we're using right now. We really appreciate what you've done here, but there's just that one little thing that you missed. And for my FPV and drone friends, if you have any questions, please be sure to drop a comment below and I will do my best to answer it. And if you like this video, consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. That stuff really helps us out. Well, thank you, and we'll see you in the next one.